Good afternoon and welcome to 3 in the Key. I'm your host, Ben Allen. Today, we will take a look at the NCAA tournament and have our panel decide on who they think will take home the championship, as well as who to watch this baseball season. National track champion Taylor Washington will also be joining us today to talk a little on visiting the White House and what her future will hold. Before we get into all that though, let's get you up to date on what you missed. Andrew Wiggins had a press conference on Monday to announce what his plans will be for next year. This is what he had to say.
Well, good afternoon, and we appreciate everybody coming out today for basically Andrew Wiggins Day. So obviously this announcement needed to happen, and everyone knew it would happen, following the completion of our season one way or another. And so I know we're all sitting on pins and needles to listen to what Andrew has to say, but certainly a proud day.
Yes. First, I'd like to give glory to God for putting me in this opportunity. Just thank my family and my coaches and my teammates for being here, and all you guys that's supporting me. I'll just say that me and my family and my coaches and my teammates have talked about entering the draft and staying. And at the end of the day, I decided I'm going to enter the draft. It wasn't an easy decision, because the fans showed me so much love here, and my teammates, it's just fun being around them, and the coaches. It's fun playing in the Allen Fieldhouse. I wish I just had more time. College goes by so fast. I can see why people stay all 4 years. So I just want to thank everyone for being here, and thank you for supporting my decision.
Danny Manning has something to decide as well.
Everyone knew it would
Former
happen.
KU assistant coach and player who is currently the coach of Tulsa has another option. He could become the next coach for Wake Forest. Wake Forest is a former ACC great school that is looking for a return to glory. If I'm Manning, I realize what I'm doing is working, and I hold out one more year to see if I can bring my team to the next level and then come see who's knocking at my door. Baseball is back, and instant replay has already made its mark. It was first used in the game on Monday and officially worked for the first time. Here's a look at the Braves and Brewers game.
He's surrendered 6 hits. As you see, he's thrown just 73 pitches so far. Braun, a slow roller. Chris Johnson, tough hop, had trouble getting it out of the glove, and Braun beat it. And Freddie Gonzalez will come out. We're going to probably have a challenge.
Well, it's the last inning that he can challenge and have a replay without it being in the hands of the umpires if he wants to do it. I think Freddie Freeman was the one that kind of signaled to him, hey, we got him here. Carlos Tosca on the phone with Horacio Ramirez, who's watching a replay. Clubhouse. Freddie checking the dugout. Alfonso Marquez is the first base umpire. Carlos is saying, I guess that means no replay. Let's see for our own eyes. Double clutch there by Chris. Oh, got him. Yeah, he's out. So, our first replay. Woohoo! And it can be on force plays, but you can't do it on the neighborhood play at second base, and you can't do it on tag-ups on a fly ball, like if a runner was leaving early. And if Freddie is correct, if they reverse it, glove, foot in the air, he's out.
Now, the other thing that's different, too, is with the replay system, and clearly Ryan Braun was out. And he is. So Ryan Braun will be retired on a 5-3 putout. Freddie Gonzalez is batting 1,000.
1 for 1.
Well, welcome back to 3 in the Key. Now joining me over in the bar is a national champion in track and someone I'm so lucky to call a friend, Miss Taylor Washington. Taylor, how are you doing?
Good.
I'm very glad that you were able to take a little bit of time out of the coaching schedule and being around the team to be able to come over and join us today. So thank you again for that.
Thanks for inviting me.
And obviously you have run your last meet, at KU, and now you are a fifth-year senior and you're working on, helping the team out. What has it been like helping the girls this year?
It's been really great helping the girls out. I just wanted to be around the track team still, even though that I'm done with my eligibility. But just helping out, it's really great experience.
Now, has there been anyone on the team that you've kind of seen a little bit of yourself in, or a player that you just really loved watching this year?
Freshman Whitney Adams, she's an amazing runner, just has a lot of character and a lot of charisma on the track and in school. So.
Now, for those who may not know, what event does she run in?
She does the 4x4, she ran the 600 indoor, and I think she's going to try the 800 outdoor.
So a little bit like you doing the
Yeah.
4x400. All right. So very, very nice. So obviously a person you came up from Texas with and someone who's received a lot of national attention has been Miss Diamond Dixon.
Yes.
How do you think Diamond's been doing this year?
She's been doing a great job in practice, working hard at meets, doing the same thing. I think if you practice hard, it'll show off at meets, and she's been doing that.
And talk a little bit about your relationship, both of you guys coming up from Texas together.
Yeah, we actually went to the same high school. We're really good friends in high school and just carried on here, and I think that kind of helps with us building like a great team here at KU.
Do you think like being friends outside of just, being on the field is something that really helps, nurture a relationship and, even running together? Does the relationship, living, up in the towers even help, on the track?
I think so. Just being friends and being on a track team with hundreds of people, it's kind of good to be friends with them first, and then it's always easier to break records and do good things because we're all so close and so tight-knit.
What's on tap next for her?
Hopefully let's get this Big 12 title for her and then national, so I think she can do it.
And speaking of what's next, what's plans for you after this?
For me, start back training and start kicking butt again.
What events are you hoping to narrow in on?
Probably the 4 and the 800.
The 4 and the 800, okay. So in the 2012 outdoor, your team was the one that broke the school record in the 4x400. What is it like to have your name in the school record book?
It's an amazing feeling. I mean, going in, we were all nervous and didn't really know what to expect, but now it's a really good feeling. What's
going through your head when you're getting ready to run out there? What is going through Taylor Washington's head?
Nerves. Food? No, just kidding. Just making sure I leave everything that I have out on the track, like run my heart out no matter what.
Okay. So obviously the national champion, as with every sport, most every sport gets a chance to go to the White House. And I saw you had a little bit of fun when you were at the White House. Oh, here we go.
Selfies.
It was the year of the selfie, and
Yeah.
It looks like you guys took great opportunity of that. But in all seriousness, what was it like meeting President Obama?
It was an amazing experience. It was definitely a humbling experience too. He just came out and talked to us about track, and his daughters are running track now, so that was a really good experience. And in the picture, he stood right behind me, almost passed out because I was nervous.
Got to shake his hand, of course.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really good experience that I'll remember for the rest of my life.
Now, how many times have you been to DC before?
That was my first time.
What did you think?
Loved it.
Loved it? Mm-hmm. Did you have a favorite thing that you saw when you were out in DC? Obviously, besides the president, what was the one moment that was the most key?
We actually did a little tour after we left the White House, so just a lot of monuments and stuff.
Okay, very nice. So, senior year, what's going to be your favorite memory, whether it's on the field or even just on campus? What is going to be your favorite memory of KU?
I think just winning nationals last year. Like, nothing can top that.
Okay. And what are the expectations for the team this year?
Do it again.
Do it again. Awesome. Well, Taylor, thank you so much for taking some time to come on with us, but you're not leaving quite yet. In the next segment, we will have Ricky Baugh and GJ Melia join us as we get ready to debate. So thank you for sticking with us, and you will definitely not want to miss. Stay tuned. Well, welcome back to 3 in the Key. And in this week, during our debate, we have decided to stick with our oh-so-fun point system that we had last week with Blake, Jeffrey, and Mike. And without further ado, let's introduce you to those who will be on the debate today. Today, we have, from the last segment, the beautiful Miss Taylor Washington. Joining us now is Ricky Baugh. Ricky is from KJHK. And we have the freshman phenom himself, Mr. GJ Melia of LFK, the Kansan, KUJH, and KJHK. So let's go ahead and jump into our first question here, guys. Mr. Deshaun Jackson of the Philadelphia Eagles had been disciplined by the Eagles and was ultimately going to be let go by the team, and he was able to decide where he wanted to go. So my question for you guys is do NFL and professional athletes in general have a little bit too much pull and say by negative things that ultimately decide what they want to do and where they want to go? Let's start off with Ricky.
I kind of think without the talent on the field, the administration has no real reason to really get into conflict with the players themselves. I think they have enough pull. I mean, I think you guys agree with me that without the players themselves, there's no game to be played. So I think it's sort of a dynamic that the athletes are going to be the bad guys when they behave bad or so. I think it's the right amount of pull. What do you guys think?
I agree. I mean, of course, without the players, there is no game. So regardless, unless they murdered someone, I feel like no matter what they did bad, they're gonna still get signed. They're still gonna make money because like the other people have to make money too. The general managers, the owners, all those people.
So you could do anything as long as you don't murder anyone.
Okay,
you can have any pull you want.
Technically.
But he hasn't had any affiliation with a gang, or so he said. So
I think a good example would be like Kobe Bryant. I mean, do you think that he has enough pull within the Lakers organization? Is it fair to other players? No, but there's times where I've questioned how much pull that he should have when he requested the trade of Andrew Bynum or something along those lines. I think it's a little unfair to really just say that a player has too much pull, but if he plays that big of a role in your organization, it's only fair that somebody who's basically a cornerstone of a business, let's call it that, because that's what pro sports are, it's not really unfair for them to have that much pull if they mean that much to an organization.
I mean, Kobe's brought Lakers 5 championships, so obviously he deserves to have a good amount of say in as far as hiring coaches and everything else as far as players he wants around him to build another championship caliber team.
And I also think Deshaun Jackson is a talented wide receiver. Sometimes doesn't make the smartest decisions, but I think overall in the NFL, you have to have talented wide receivers, talent on any position. So I think because of his talent level, it doesn't really matter. I don't think he's getting rewarded by getting traded to another team. I think that's just the nature of the beast. I think that's how business in the NFL works. You need a talented wide receiver. They're going to get it. If another team wants to pick him up, then they're going to pick him up.
Talking about pull will always help you get the point. And with that, Mr. Ricky Baugh has gotten the first point of the matchup today with a score of 1-0-0. All right, let's get into our second topic. The NBA season is coming down the stretch, and we are down under 7 games to remain. There has been a lot of talk this season who will be the MVP, whether it is Blake Griffin, Kevin Durant, or LeBron James. My question to you is, who will be the MVP this year?
I mean, I could see a case for Kevin Durant. I really could. I really, truly could. But when you talk about most valuable player in the NBA, there should be no eyes that go anywhere else outside of LeBron James. LeBron James, we all know, is 6'8", 260. He could play positions 1 through 5 if needed. He has the experience and everything that goes along with it. I don't see any other MVP than LeBron James this year.
You see, it's called MVP. LeBron is by far the best player, but I disagree. LeBron is by far the best player in the NBA, but Russell Westbrook was out. Kevin Durant scores 30 points. He's averaged almost 30 points a game this year. He went a span of, I think it was 11 games where he scored over 30 points, and he's had double digits in 40-point games this year. The Thunder would not even be in the playoffs without Kevin Durant. The Heat may be in the playoffs without LeBron James.
I agree. I think most valuable player, I'm going to have to go with Kevin Durant. I mean, he's a better player. And then give the ball to LeBron James. They need to score the last couple of games. He passes it off. They lose the game. I feel like you need to take that shot. If you're the most valuable player, you're going to want your team to win. You take that shot. He didn't take the shot. So.
Well, then I think there's a problem with the award at this point. I think it shouldn't be most valuable player. It should be most valuable player means best player, because truly LeBron is the best player. How do you not give the MVP to the best player? I think that means that you're going to how come there's not a Milwaukee Bucks player that means a lot to their organization, or somebody for the Detroit Pistons? Like, why doesn't Brandon Jennings get the award? I think without a question, it should go to LeBron James. It's kind of like saying, well, the best player just can't get the award every year. Why not?
That's true. You do make a good point with that. I just feel like, by definition, MVP, Kevin Durant should win it. But I do think, without a question, I agree with you. LeBron James is the best player in the NBA right now.
Okay. I mean, it's sort of like the Heisman, I think. Like
That
it's kind of a bad award because it doesn't truly go to the best player, but people assume that the MVP is the best player, just like a Heisman Trophy winner, best college football player. That's not it at all.
All right, we're going to cut you off here, Ricky.
Okay.
We get what you're saying. But we're going to go with a little comparison here for a second. Andrew Wiggins, he may have been the best player in the conference talent-wise. Melvin Ejim, though, was the best player. Melvin Ejim won the MVP, and likewise, even though LeBron James may be the best overall player, the best season is going to Kevin Durant. And with that great point of comparison, Taylor Washington is now on the board. So GJ, you got to catch up here, Mr. Phenom here. Next person to go. You got to get the point next. All right, so we're going to switch things up a little bit here and switch sports one more time, going to Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball season has begun, and we're going to go ahead and just throw it out here. Who's going to win the World Series this year, and against who?
Well, being from the state of Michigan, I think I'm going to have to go with my hometown Detroit Tigers. I'm not exactly super confident in the Tigers, but I think right now they should at least contend for a
Ricky,
World
you're
Series.
wearing a Reds hat. How can you say that? You're wearing a Reds hat.
It's kind of hurting me to say something about the Reds or the Tigers when I'm wearing a Reds hat right now. I've received a lot of flack from that in this.
Then take it off.
Oh, well, that's really not an option for me right now, Taylor. But
Why not?
I'm gonna stick with the Tigers. GJ?
I'm going to go with the Tigers as well. But I do have them, this one's for Cal back there, I do have them playing the Pirates, so hopefully that gets me a little extra credit points. But I do think Justin Verlander, with 2 Cy Youngs, he will definitely ride this ship to the World Series. And then they have Cabrera locked up for a while, and they have other good pitchers in the bullpen going along with Verlander. I think it's the Tigers. They've been there twice before in recent years. I think it is the Tigers to lose this year.
I'm going to have to go ahead and say the matchup would probably be the Cardinals and the Tigers. And if that's the case, I'm going to have to go with Cardinals. Sorry, guys.
Wow.
That's the easy pick, I feel like, in that. You want to go for the hometown pick. And I don't understand why you don't pick your hometown Astros.
Okay, you want to go there, huh? Well, Astros, sorry, guys, but this isn't your year. I'm going to go with Cardinals still.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Well, I'm getting a lot in my ear from our director that the only obvious pick to this is the person who picks the Cardinals. So getting her second point of the day will be Taylor Washington. Taylor has 2, Ricky has 1, and GJ still can't get on the board yet. But maybe this will be his question. He's going to lead us off with the next answer on this one. But okay, we have UConn, we have Wisconsin, we have Florida, and we have Kentucky. Who wins the national tournament this year, GJ?
Well, I see it a couple of ways. If Florida is to beat out UConn and Kentucky is to beat out Wisconsin, it will be the 4th matchup between Kentucky and Florida. And Florida winning the previous 3, I think it is almost impossible to beat a team 4 times in a row, no matter how good of a team you are. And I do have Kentucky and Florida in the national championship, and I think Kentucky, they're by far the most talented team in college basketball. They started off the year number 1. They're going to end the year number 1. I have Kentucky cutting down the nets, as unlikely as that sounds.
I'm going to disagree. I'm going to go ahead and say that it will be Kentucky and Florida in the national championship, but I'm going to have to go with Florida.
Why so?
They're kind of like the underdogs coming into this. Not that many people would think that Florida would be at this spot at the end of the year, and I think they're going to want it. They're going to want to work hard for it. It's the year for the underdogs, so Florida it is.
See, that's a quality pick there, Taylor. I really appreciate that because I also have Florida as well. You have to think about the 4 senior leaders, and will you get Patrick Young, Scotty Wilbekin, and Dorian Finney-Smith, although he might be a junior. Anyway, he's an upperclassman. That's a lot of talent and a lot of experience, and experience pays off in March. Kentucky's full of freshmen. However talented they are, they're freshmen. On a stage this big, we've seen them collapse against Michigan State, albeit early in the season. I ultimately think experience trumps talent because the coaching is going to be matched evenly with Billy Donovan and John Calipari. So I think Florida's experience will trump Kentucky's talent.
I mean, I respect that, and I think that's how it has been all throughout the year in those 3 previous matchups. But you got to think those 3 previous matchups have left a sour taste in the mouth of Big Blue Nation and in the mouth of all those players. Now, the one thing that I will mention is Willie Cauley-Stein may not be able to play in the Final Four matchup, and if they were to advance, he may not be able to play in the Monday game for the national title, which could give Kentucky. I think Kentucky, if they get by Wisconsin, they will undoubtedly beat Florida, but they may not get by Wisconsin.
That's all for this round. And the point is finally going to Mr. G.J. Melia, who is finally on the board. But we're not going to end this right here. We will be having a final bonus question here that'll be worth 2 points and will ultimately decide who wins it all. The final question, as quick as you can answer it within a 30-second span. Tiger Woods just had back surgery. Will Tiger Woods ever return to former glory?
He's 38 right now, so I think he's definitely got at least 5 more years left in him, and we've seen it year in and year out. We haven't seen it the past 6 years, but I think Tiger, if he's finally at full strength, he can at least win 1 more major.
See, I kind of agree. I just think that the window is definitely closing on Tiger Woods, though. And when you say former glory, I think he'll be able to contend consistently and be in the top 4 or 5 in a lot of those major events. However, complete and utter dominance on the PGA Tour, I think that is long past with Mr. Woods.
I have to agree. I think his time is slowly coming to an end, and with this back surgery, I think he might just need to go ahead and call it quits now. Sorry, guy. Very sorry.
And I'm hearing in my ear that in the final question, the winner of this week's debate is Mr. Ricky Baugh. Ricky, with the great points there, has ultimately got the win for today. Guys, we want to thank you for coming on the debate today. Taylor, thank you for coming on for the second segment. That's all we're going to have for today. Make sure you check us out on Twitter at 3InKey, and make sure you tune in next week for our show. As for now, I'm Ben Allen, and this has been 3 in the Key.